Hey there guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Crafty Kathy, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I made some Halloween DIY decor ideas, and they're all witch themed. And in traditional Kathy style, they all light up. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun recreating these and crafting these with your kids and grandkids. But without all this blabbing, let's just jump on in.
For DIY number one, we're going to use some Dollar Tree material. I've got this box that I got in the gift section, and then this hoop is actually a splatter guard. You find those splatter guards over by where the paper towel holders are. You pull the mesh off of it, and you get the one that has the handle. Pull that handle off, and it'll come apart at the bottom. Now, I took these outside and I spray painted my box orange and I spray painted my little hoop black. I always use the Rust-Oleum 2-time spray paint because it's my favorite. And now I'm going to take this pitiful looking piece of floral foam that looks like it's been shot, and I'm just going to cut it down so it'll fit inside my box. I simply measured the size of the box and just cut it off with my blade. I checked to make sure it was going to fit right, and it did. So I just put a little bit of hot glue at the bottom of my box just to hold that floral foam still so it won't be flopping around in there. And then I put a bag of sand on top of it. If you have some of those pebbles from Dollar Tree, drop those in there. Just something to give it a little weight. I didn't have the pebbles, so I just stuck a whole bag of sand in there. And now what we're going to do is put 2 holes, one on each side of the box, right in the very center. Now, these holes don't have to be pretty. Don't you worry about that at all. What I did is just got my little box cutter, and I made my holes just like little squares. Just enough so that my little hoop can fit right in there easily. I'm doing my best to edit this video without my voice cracking. I found out today that I have COVID. I've been sick for the past few days, and my voice is just cracking really terrible, so please just bear with me through this video. Now, all I did was just put my little hoops inside, and it goes right into that floral foam that we had in there. And then you just kind of squish it together to where your hoop makes a perfect circle again. I created this cardstock. I had bought this off of Etsy because I didn't want to go to Hobby Lobby and buy a bunch of cardstock and different papers. So I just bought the paper, like I said, off of Etsy. I printed out on my computer on cardstock, and I cut these down into 2-inch wide strips. What we're going to do is make a rosette. Now we need 2 of these strips to make a rosette. All you're going to do is just fold it one way and then flip your paper over and fold it another way. Now, I don't think that there's any certain size that you need to fold this or anything like that. This is one of those crafts that it comes out looking good no matter what you do. And those are the types of crafts that I tend to go for because I'm a messy crafter. I'm not one of those kinds that, make sure that every T is crossed and every I is dotted. Sometimes it's a mess, but it usually comes out looking pretty good. Now see there, it looks like a little fan, and that's going to be 1/2 of your rosette. You're going to do that again to this other side. Go all the way down through there, and what you're going to do is connect these 2 pieces together, and it's going to create your little round rosette. They're very easy to make. What I do is just put a little hot glue on the very end, and I connect my 2 pieces together, and then I'm going to pull it around in a circular formation and then glue those other 2 pieces together. And that's all you do. Voila, you got your little rosette. The other day on Etsy, I got these little vintage Halloween cards. It's got these beautiful little girls on there, like little baby witches. They're so cute, and I'm obsessed with these cards. I want to put them on everything. I use my pinking shears and just cut down the sides because I think that little ziggy-zaggy formation just brings, I don't know, just a little something extra to the project, and I think it's really cute that way. I think these little girls are so beautiful when they're going to be just kind of on the front of the rosettes. It's just going to make it pop and look so cute. I took these orange lights that I got from the Dollar Tree. They're the kind that you plug in. And I'm going to place these all the way around my little ring. And I'm going to secure them with the black cable ties. Now, I chose black because that way you wouldn't be able to notice it so much. It's just going to kind of blend in the background. So I went all the way around and I put these down with my black cable ties. Then I went to go plug it in, and they didn't work. The daggum lights did not work after I spent all that time making sure they were placed perfectly. I was so mad, y'all. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. I just took those off and replaced them with another one from Dollar Tree. Now, these have the little battery pack with them. Here is where I'm telling you that I put some glue right there on the outside of the box to make sure that it's going to hold my little hoop. I also placed glue on the inside. I put a little bit of glue on the back of my battery charger and pop it to the back of the box. That way nobody ever sees it. And then I clipped off all the little extra pieces to my cable ties. In order to make my rosettes stay together in the middle, I kind of push it together and add a little bit of hot glue right down in the center, and then I just hold it there for a few minutes, and that way when the hot glue dries, it's going to be a perfect little rosette, and it's going to hold its beautiful formation. I went through all my little Halloween cards, and I chose this one that had the pumpkin on the front that just simply says Happy Halloween. I'm going to stick that on the front of my rosette. And I wanted my rosette to kind of be a 3D and stick out a little bit from the box. So I put one of these little wooden blocks behind it, and I placed it on there. But then I didn't like the way it looked because it stuck out too much. So I took the block off and just stuck my rosette right to the box. And then I put the little block on the front of the rosette and put my little pumpkin picture on the front of that. Then I took a little 1-inch black ribbon that I got from Walmart, and I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue around my box and put my ribbon around my box. The other day, I got some black bottle caps off of Etsy, and I wasn't too sure that I was going to use them, but I'm going to go ahead and glitterify them anyway. What I do is I just put some Mod Podge on each one, and I poured the black glitter on it. And this black glitter I'm using is kind of chunky. It does come from Walmart. And then I took some of the little rings that I got from Dollar Tree. They have bats on them, and I think one of them had like a skull head. I cut the little back parts off that you would use as the ring, and I put some of the Mod Podge on the front of the little bats, and I put the orange glitter on them. The orange glitter that I'm using did come from the Dollar Tree, and it is the perfect color for pumpkin. I'm going to glue my bats to the top of my bottle caps, and then I'm going to take that bottle cap and stick it on the upper left-hand corner of my box. I took a bat that I got from the Dollar Tree, and it's actually a little tree topper, but I'm just going to use the back part. What I did was put Mod Podge all over the bat, and I'm going to cover it with the black glitter. It made such a difference. It's just, at Halloween and Christmas, I like to use glitter, but the rest of the year, I'm like everybody else. I can't stand glitter, but I think it's beautiful to use for like whimsical type decor. Halloween and Christmas are the perfect times. The next thing that I'm going to do is take this orange tree from the Dollar Tree, and I pulled off the little wooden round that goes on the bottom. I popped a little hole in the very top center of my box, and that's where my tree's going to go. Now, I am going to put some glue in there in just a moment so we can hold him down steady. I'm going to take some of that Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to place it all over the middle part on the top of my ring because that's where my bat's going to go. Now, I kept the little tree topper part for now because that helps me to hold the bat steady where I want him to go. And what I'm going to do is just lay my box down, and I need a little bit of weight on the bat so that he will stick on there perfectly. I just used one of my little paint containers, and I'm going to place that right on top of my bat and leave him alone all night long. That way he'll be stuck in place and it's going to be perfect. Then I took my wire cutters and I cut the little bottom piece off of the bat. And I just, like I said, left him alone all night. I'm going to flip my tree over, and under the bottom part of that box, you can see the little stem down there. I'm just going to put a bunch of glue around it, and that's going to hold it steady, and that way that tree's not going to be wobbling around anywhere. Now the next day, when everything was stuck in place, this is what we've got so far, but I still wasn't finished. I wanted to add a little pizzazz to it. I took some of the orange glitter tulle from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to put this on our little hoop. Now, I thought it would be better, instead of going vertical, to go horizontal, so we're only going to have to use 2 pieces of the tulle by doing it that way. All I did was just put a little bit of hot glue around my ring, and then I'm just going to run that tulle up and down, and I'm just going to kind of pat it into place where it's going to hold still. If there's any excess that was sticking off or didn't look right, I just kind of trimmed it with my scissors. And it only took 2 pieces of tulle, and I did this on both sides of the back of the box. I want to take just a moment to welcome you to my channel. If you're enjoying my content, please give me a big thumbs up because it really helps me out. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our family yet, what in the world are you waiting for? Hit that little red button and become a part of our family. We'd love to have you. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and we're almost finished. I flipped it back over, and I wanted to use some of those Halloween ornaments that come in the packs from Dollar Tree. I wanted to use some of the bigger ones and some of the smaller ones. So what I did was just grabbed this glitter one, and it's black as you see. I pulled off the top, and I'm just going to glue it kind of right in front of my hoop. Now, the ornament itself is kind of resting on the hoop. You just see where you need to put your glue, and you put it there. The main reason why I was doing the ornaments was to bring something different to it, to add something else special to it, but also to hide the wiring that was kind of down at the bottom of the box. And that area where I cut into the box, it wasn't that pretty, so we're just basically covering that up. What I did was used a couple of the big ornaments and then a couple of the small ones. No big deal. I just kind of pulled the tops off of all of them. I just think that looks better when you do it that way. And I just glued them any way I needed to make sure that they looked right. I ended up doing the ornaments on both sides, the left and the right of my box. I still feel like I wasn't finished, and I grabbed these little witch characters. I got these at the Dollar General for just $1, and I thought these would be really cute in front of the little tree, but I can't have them plain the way they were. So I first just painted them black, and I didn't like that. So then I added some of my Mod Podge, and we're going to add some of the glitter. That way their robes and their hair and their little black hats are all going to be glittery and perfect. I added black mostly on the first witch, and then on the second witch, I added a little bit of orange in there just to give it a little bit of a contrasting color. And these turned out really cute. I also have a little piece of fence that I got from Temu, and you can see that it's pink right now, but I didn't want it to stay pink, so I painted it black, and I still wanted to add glitter to it. I pulled out a couple of the little pieces of the fence so it would look old and rickety, and kind of moved it around to where the fence looked broken. And then I just added my Mod Podge and my black glitter over the top of it, and it looked really cute. Then I just added my old rickety fence up in front of the tree and my 2 witches. I'm sorry I'm out of focus there, but that's all I did to finish off my little Halloween box, and I hope you like it. DIY number 2 is another witchy DIY. Someone gave me this white shadow box. It originally came from Hobby Lobby, and they were just going to throw it away, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and so they gave it to me. I'm going to try to keep the glare out of the glass for you guys while we're working on this DIY. I really like it because it's got 2 little magnets that keeps it closed. What I'm going to do is start off with my favorite paint, which is DIY paint in the color Black Velvet. And we are going to give this guy 2 coats of Black Velvet. DIY paint is a clay-based paint, and it is my favorite. It always dries down a lighter color than when it goes on, and I think it's beautiful. My friend Lori sells this paint over at www.miltonsdaughter.com, and if you use the code CraftyCathy10, you get 10% off your first order. We're going to make a beautiful lighted shadow box, and I made this picture off of Cricut. It's one of their Cricut designs that's already on there. But if you don't have a Cricut, you can always use those transfers that come out at the Dollar Tree. We're going to use a little bit of those also for this DIY. I rarely use my Cricut, but when I saw this design in their Cricut design space, I thought it was so pretty and I wanted to use it. I thought it would make a lovely shadow box. So I am just placing this down in the middle of my shadow box. Now inside my shadow box was this cream color, and I started off painting it with my color Black Velvet, but it was just soaking it up because it was kind of like a linen material. So I pulled that part off, took it outside, and actually spray painted that black. That way when I put my lights in, it's really going to shine. I felt like there was too much of a space that was blank underneath my witch, so I went back to the Cricut design space and I just simply pulled off a little thing that says Happy Halloween, and I feel like it just kind of evened out that space a little bit. I added my lights inside my box, and I decided to just go with the color green. I got these lights off of Amazon, and they come in all different kinds of spooky Halloween colors. They're in my Amazon store in case you want some. I held them together with those glue dots that I get from the Dollar Tree, and then I take my little battery packs and I just glue them to the back of my picture, but I always glue them with the screw side facing out. That way I can change the batteries if need be. Now we're going to play around with all these cute little transfers that came out at the Dollar Tree this year. My favorite is the one that has the ghost on it, and I'm going to place 2 ghosts up at the top. These are so easy to put down. All you do is just cut out the piece that you want, and you lay it down on there, and you either use your fingernail or you can use like a little Cricut tool or a credit card or something and just kind of scratch over the top of it, and it's going to stay on the surface. And then at the bottom, I decided to put this little trio of pumpkins because I thought it just went so good with this picture. Then I cut the other little ghost out, and I'm just going to put him right on the very top. That way I have 2 spooky little ghosts over the top of my witch. And while I'm putting these transfers on, let me know what is one of your most favorite Halloween memories. This one is one that I hold very dear. I found this picture the other day. This was my son back in 1999. He's almost 27 years old. And of course, the background is Snoopy. If you know one thing about me, you know that I am Snoopy crazy. Roxy jumped up on the table because she loves to be the boss, and she told me that I needed to use the antique gold color of my rub and buff and go around this beautiful shadow box. I wanted to accentuate the shape that goes around it because it was so beautiful, and I believe the antique gold was definitely the color to use. Now you can use a paintbrush or anything to use this rub and buff, but I honestly prefer to use my finger because that way I can put as much or as little as I want and get it exactly where I want it to go. And I think that this really did make such a difference and accentuate this frame. I'm going to take 2 of my little glittery spiders that comes out of the pack from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put one in the top left-hand corner, and then the other one is going to go down on the bottom right-hand corner of my beautiful shadow box. I don't understand the concept that less is more, but I decided that I would try it on this shadow box. So I didn't want to go overboard. I just finished it off with a cute little glittery orange bow on the top. And I hope you like this one. I want to stop just a moment and remind you to subscribe and hit that little bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. We would love to have you as part of our family. Also, if you would, please hit that big thumbs up. That's the like button, because it really helps me out on YouTube. It helps to push my videos out there to people who've never seen me before. Now let's get back into the DIYs. DIY number 3 is one of my most favorite DIYs to do ever. I love to buy these little clear glass ornaments. They come out at Hobby Lobby. Now these square ones are normally $6.99, which you know when they do the 50% off, they're only $3.50. And then you can get 4 of these rounded ones, and they're not totally round. They're like an oval shape, and they're a little bit slimmer than the ones from the Dollar Tree. And they are normally $4 for the 4. So each bulb comes out being about $1 a piece, about the same as Dollar Tree. However, they are glass and they're much more substantial. I absolutely love to decoupage, and I got these napkins from the Dollar General for just $1. They have this witch on them. They're a good thing to use, but I want to show you the decoupage papers that my friend Lori sent me from Milton's daughter. She has all kinds of decoupage papers. These are made by Decoupage Queen, and you see they have 4 different images in them. They have ravens and skulls and owls and witches and pumpkins and haunted house. They have everything. And then she sent me this big one of the witch, and I believe that it was like a 16 by 11, something around that size. I can't be exactly sure. And then she sent me these 4 that have the vintage little witchy girls on it that are so cute. And I absolutely love these. I've definitely seen these pictures around before. I'm going to try to use one of these inside one of the bulbs. My first rule of decoupage is you never have straight corners. Like, I don't like to cut these with scissors and make perfect shapes. I think they look so much better when they're torn. It just looks so much more organic and beautiful. So what I do is just squirt a few drops of water on my mat, use a thin paintbrush, and I go around the image as closely as I can. And then I just literally rip out the image. And this is what we're left with. I think this little girl is going to be perfect on this ornament. Most of the time when I'm doing the decoupage, I put the image on the back of the ornament, and that way I can fill stuff inside the ornament and it just looks so pretty. And in this case, I believe I am going to put this little girl on the back of the ornament. I always use my liquid patina. It's by DIY Paint, and it's kind of like Mod Podge, but it's a lot thinner, and I like it so much better. All I'm going to do is just put a little bit, it doesn't take much, all over the front of my picture here, and I'm just going to decoupage her to the back of my ornament. I'll lay her down exactly where I want her to go and use just a little bit more of that liquid patina all the way around her, making sure that I get the ends really saturated with it, and that way it's going to stick perfectly. The next one that I'm going to do is the witch. Now, it is very different to decoupage with a napkin than it is the decoupage paper. The napkins are so much thinner and you have to be really careful with them because you can rip them very easily. So I did the exact same thing. I'm going to put her on the square ornament. I just went around with a little bit of water and made a square, and I tore her off the napkin. And then I'm going to take that back ply off of my napkin, put a little bit of the decoupage medium, which is the liquid patina, down, and then I'm just going to place that napkin down. I always use my saran wrap. You can ball it up or you can use it straight, but I always use that to get my wrinkles out. If you touch a napkin while it's still wet, you're just going to pull it right back up. So the best thing to do is get you some saran wrap or cling wrap. I just call it saran wrap. And you just go around and you kind of rub it out with your fingers. The heat from your fingers makes like a little iron, and you can just iron out those wrinkles very easily. I'm going to take another one of the sets of my colored lights. These are like a really light purpley color, and these are some of the ones that I got off of Amazon. There's 20 little twinkle lights on each strand. What I'm going to do is undo my strand, and I'm going to stick that right down in the top of the ornament. And then I just take the little battery pack and I just kind of like glue that on the back of the ornament, and you'll never see it back there. Then we're going to go back to that round ornament. I'm going to take the DIY color called beadboard. It is an off-white color, and since I had to rip the picture so much around the little girl, I want to create or like fill in that gap with this white paint. All I do is just kind of dab it on. I don't paint it on. I just kind of dab it on because that looks more natural. I'm going to place that all over the back side of the ornament, and I'm also painting over the back of the picture because when you're decoupaging, if your background is white, then it makes your decoupage picture just pop that much more. And we really want her to be seen, so we are just going to paint that whole back part of that ornament white. Now we're going to work on my favorite one. We're going to take this beautiful little witchy girl, and I'm going to have to put the decoupage medium on the front of her. And so what I'm going to do is just use this matte clear to protect her. Since I had to print her on the printer, it's going to keep the colors from running. So all I'm going to do is take my liquid patina, and I'm going to put just a little bit of it on the back of my ornament, and I'm going to place her face down on that ornament. That way, when you're looking through the ornament, you can see our beautiful little witchy girl. And then I made sure to go over the back once again with that liquid patina just to seal it in so that she stays there forever and ever. I'm going to take what I've got left of this little squunchy ribbon. I'm not sure what it's called, but I got this at Hobby Lobby, I believe. And I just want to embellish all of these beautiful little ornaments. So I'm going to put my finger protectors on. That's a first. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue all the way around in the middle portion of all of 3 of my ornaments and run this all the way around. It's going to make a beautiful impression on our gorgeous little ornaments. After I put it on the round ornament, I went and decided to put this same ribbon on both of my square ornaments. I like it so much, and since it's black, it just matches everything perfect. I just go all the way around, and then when I get to the top, I just cut off the excess. I'm going to take some more of those little bat rings that I have. I'm going to cut the backs of them off, and I'm going to put some orange glitter on them. I love to use my liquid patina or Mod Podge and just put it all over the top of the bat and then just sprinkle that orange glitter on it, and it's so beautiful and so bright and vibrant. I took a couple of my little bats and added them to those black bottle caps that I had already put the black glitter on. I just think that makes a cute little statement. I took some of these cute little felt stickers that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to place them on the ornament that has the little witch. I think she's perfect for the little black cat. I felt like I needed to paint around the picture of the little witch girl on the back just because the picture was so small, and I wanted it to look like it was, going over the full area of the ornament. So I just painted it white on the back. I took my liquid patina and a very thin paintbrush, and I went along the sides of the picture of that little girl on the inside of my ornament and just sprinkled my orange glitter down inside that ornament and kind of shook it around so it would hold there on the sides, and it turned out really, really cute. Then I took one of those black bottle caps that had the little bats on the front, and I'm just going to place that in the upper right-hand corner of my little girl. I also put some liquid patina all around the very top part of that ornament and added orange glitter to it also, just for a little extra pizzazz. And I decided to take one of the little orange colored bats and stick it up in the top right hand corner of the little witch. Then on the very last one, I kind of messed her up. I took the little round ornament of the witch because since the orange glitter turned out so beautiful on that little witchy girl, I wanted to put black glitter around my other girl. So I decided to run a little bit of Mod Podge down inside, and I don't know why I used Mod Podge instead of liquid patina, because liquid patina is so much thinner and the Mod Podge was just so thick it kind of overwhelmed the ornament. I was just trying to get it around in a circle so you could still see her face, but by the time I had finished, her face was almost covered up, and I just didn't like the way that one turned out too much. Hey, if you stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I want to invite you to come back and see my other videos. My videos come out every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now don't forget to subscribe, hit that little red button, and there's a bell beside it. And when you click all, YouTube will let you know every single time that I put out a video, and I sure don't want you to miss a single one. Now I will see you all back here real soon, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Also, if you did enjoy this type of video, I have another one right here that's also Halloween, and I think you're going to like it too. All you have to do is just click on that actual video and it'll take you right to it. I'll see you guys soon, and I love you all. God bless you and your family.